Thawne?
Big twist, I know.
Yo, what is going on guys, Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on the Arrowverse as a whole, most specifically regarding the Flash as well as Legends of Tomorrow, but it does kind of involve the whole Arrowverse timeline in general. But yeah, we knew for a couple of weeks now that Matt Letcher, aka the original Reverse Flash, was going to be reprising his role as Eobard Thawne, aka the Reverse Flash, for Legends of Tomorrow Season 7 Episode 10 and Season 7 Episode 11. And I know a lot of people do not watch Legends anymore due to the change in tone it's had. It's become a lot more goofy and it's just not people's cup of tea anymore. So this video will pretty much just be me explaining this version of Eobard Thawne and what's going on with him and the storyline which he's had in this episode, because we got some pretty damn interesting reveals during this episode regarding this character of Eobard Thawne. And we will be getting more of him next week as well, so I will do some sort of a follow-up video for that, so be on the lookout for that next week. But before I go over anything, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. Okay, so during the latest episode of Legends of Tomorrow, that being Season 7 Episode 10, titled The Fix Point, the Legends wanted to create some sort of a distraction in the timeline so that they're able to reclaim the Wave Rider from the evil Legends of Tomorrow clones by attacking something which is called a fixed point in time. And they do this by time traveling to the year 1914 Sarajevo, and they're trying to stop the assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand. And that is obviously a main catalyst in time because that assassination is pretty much what results to World War I happening. But eventually, the Legends come across this bar filled with time travelers, and we pretty much find out that this bar is filled with time travelers, and they're essentially doing some sort of a race in terms of which time traveler is able to stop the assassination of the Archduke, and they're doing some sort of bets with it, but a lot of the contenders fail. Now, last season, Sarah Lance did gain these abilities to essentially regenerate herself, so whenever she gets shot, she just regenerates. So she tries multiple times, and she also ends up failing. Now, in the episode, we find out that these people failed because someone has been manipulating the timeline to make all of these contenders fail, pretty much keeping the timeline intact and resetting it back to normal, and it is some sort of mystery man doing this. That was like the key mystery of the episode, and this man's essentially freezing time and he's resetting the timeline back to normal. But we have Sarah Lance going out there for her final try because her cards are finished and someone else gave her their card so that she's able to try one more time because she was the closest out of anyone in the bar to stop the assassination. So she tries one more time and she goes out there in the field and she's trying to prevent the assassination once again, but this time she acquires some sort of device which allows her to freeze time, and she does this so that she's able to find out who's been fixing the timeline and restoring it back to normal, and she comes across this mystery man who's been fixing the timeline and preventing the time travelers from messing with it, that being the one and only Eobard Thawne, aka the Reverse Flash himself. However, this is a version of Eobard Thawne from after the events of Legends of Tomorrow Season 2 specifically. So this is not a version of the Reverse Flash we have seen on the Flash TV show. So pretty much the Reverse Flash we have seen from the Flash Season 4 onwards is the real Reverse Flash. And I will get into explaining all of this in just a second. But Thawne essentially confronts Sarah Lance and he mentions that he is protecting the timeline, which does get Sarah very confused because last time she checked, Thawne was a murdering psychopath. So what made him basically stay here and try and restore the timeline? We then get this fight scene between Sarah Lance and Eobard Thawne, and we find out that Eobard Thawne does not have his powers, in which at that time I thought that it had something to do with Barry extracting Thawne's speed during the Armageddon finale from The Flash Season 8, but no, we do get answers later on. So Sarah Lance eventually defeats Thawne, however he mentions that Sarah is not allowed to get rid of him or else Sarah Lance would be forced to take Eobard's role as the protector of the fixed point. But yeah, later on in the episode we find out what happened to this version of the Reverse Flash. So pretty much his job is to protect the fixed point. Because if we take a trip back to the Legends of Tomorrow Season 2 finale, we obviously had the Black Flash going after Eobard Thawne because he was a living paradox, since he cheated death by time traveling to present day whilst also saving Barry during the events of Flashpoint when he wasn't supposed to. But also he started time traveling very frequently with the Legion of Doom, so because of this the Black Flash was after him and eventually killed him. But Thawne then mentions in this episode that after he got killed by the Black Flash, the Time Wraiths brought Thawne back to life, and he's pretty much served a bigger purpose, and that was that he had to protect the fixed point. However, the Time Wraiths stole his speed away from him, so that is why he does not have his speed in this episode. So pretty much from my understanding of this, we can take this theory into two different directions. The first theory being there are two versions of Eobard Thawne now in the Arrowverse. There is the real Eobard Thawne, now played by Tom Cavanaugh from The Flash Season 4 all the way to The Flash Season 8. And then we have this alternate timeline version of the Reverse Flash who cheated death post-Flashpoint, worked with the Legion of Doom and eventually got killed by the Black Flash and then got sent to the fixed point. Now the second option being the Eobard Thawne from the Legends Season 2 finale died from the Black Flash, and then the Time Wraiths allowed him to live again, but he had to look over the fixed point. But the Eobard Thawne we have been seeing on The Flash from Crisis on Earth X onwards, now played by Tom Cavanaugh, is an alternate version of the Eobard from Legends of Tomorrow Season 2, who's presumably from a different point in time and has never lived through the events of Legends of Tomorrow. So pretty much speaking, you could say that it's a Barry Savitar situation, but this version of Eobard Thawne is the original version of Eobard Thawne, and then the other version of Eobard Thawne is also the original version of the Eobard Thawne, if that makes sense. Either that, or the Thawne on The Flash has lived the events of Legends of Tomorrow as well, and has been able to somehow regain his speed and return to living how he used to. Now this would make sense because during Armageddon, I know this doesn't count because technically the Flash and the Reverse Flash have swapped roles, but technically, we have still established the fact that Damien Dark and the Reverse Flash did have some sort of a friendship, and the way they've met is through Legends of Tomorrow. So the theory that makes the most sense is that the Welzabard version of Thawne has also lived the events of Legends of Tomorrow and has been able to somehow regain his speed and return to living after Eddie killed himself, and then eventually helped the Earth Xers, got locked in the future in Iron Heights due to Cicada's dagger, and then eventually in Season 6 lost his body, and then in Season 7 helped Barry defeat Godspeed, and then most recently The Flash Season 8 created the Reverse Flashpoint. So what I'm predicting over here is that the Eobard Thawne we've been seeing on The Flash is the full-on original Reverse Flash. However, the Eobard Thawne we've seen on Legends of Tomorrow is just an alternate version of Eobard Thawne from the events of the Legends of Tomorrow Season 2 finale, who's been dragged and put into the fixed point to protect it. I know it's a bit confusing, but it's the best I could pretty much explain it. Now, we do know that this version of Eobard Thawne will also be on next week's episode of Legends of Tomorrow as well, so it is possible that maybe he finds a way to regain his powers and is able to escape the fixed point. That could be possible, and that would also be pretty damn cool to see, because that could eventually set up this version of Eobard Thawne becoming some sort of a villain for The Flash, potentially even become the main villain for one of the graphic novels for The Flash Season 8, or The Flash Season 9 as the case may be. Maybe he escapes the fixed point without gaining his speed back, but when he escapes, he's able to just automatically get his speed back. That could also be another possibility. So maybe it's the fixed point that's pretty much stripping him away from his abilities. And when he escapes the fixed point, he's able to regain his speed back. That could also be something which is very possible as well. They could also do something like when this version of Eobard Thawne regains his abilities back, this will automatically in turn result to the original Reverse Flash getting his speed back as well, since they should be connected in some way. Kinda like, as I said before, the Barry Savitar situation. When Barry does something, the other Savitar would remember it. It will kinda be like that sort of connection. Or else it could be possible that this version of Eobard could help the original Eobard Thawne escape prison as well, but that will cause many different issues in the Arrowverse, so I doubt that will happen, and personally I would not like to see that. But what is very possible is that this could potentially set up Matt Letcher's version of the Reverse Flash, either for the final graphic novel for The Flash Season 8, being a villain in that, or one of the graphic novels for The Flash Season 9. I think that could be very possible if I am right and Eobard Thawne does manage to escape the fixed point. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Be sure to tell me in the comment section down below what you guys think about this. Do you guys think that next week Eobard will escape the fixed point, or do you guys think he will remain there? I'm interested to see all of your thoughts towards all of this as well. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.